You are watching CNN. I'm Brooke Baldwin. We do have some new information now about the so-called Taliban Five. These are the men the Obama administration traded last year for captured American Sergeant Bowe Bergdahl. CNN is now learning that at least one of these men may have reconnected with the Taliban. A worst-case scenario. The swap was controversial for myriad reasons, critics saying it was a bad deal that would put militants back on the battlefield and a violation of U.S. policy not to negotiate with terrorists. And the timing here, the timing of this revelation could not be more intriguing. The U.S. now being forced to revisit accusations of hypocrisy and semantics as its ally. Jordan is waiting for word of its own possible hostage swap with ISIS militants. It's a move the U.S. does not approve of.
Our view and our position as the United States government is that we don't make concessions to terrorists. Now, there are certain circumstances, and you've been talking a little bit about Bowe Bergdahl this morning, where he was a member of the military, someone who had volunteered to serve his country, and we don't leave our men and women behind. We took steps to bring him home.
Joining me now, Buck Sexton, CNN political commentator and former CIA counterterrorism analyst. Good to see you again, sir.
Thank you.
We'll get to Jen Psaki's point in just a moment, but first, I mean, we talked about this when this whole deal went down and the controversy swirling around it. To know that this individual has reached out to militants once he was returned, is that really a surprise?
Absolutely no surprise. It's well known that the recidivism rate for people released from Gitmo is estimated to be 25 to 30%. Some say it's a little higher, some say it's a little lower. But what do they think is going to happen when someone's been in captivity in Gitmo for years? They're going to go back into society somewhere else and be upstanding citizens. The individuals released here, the Taliban Five, include people who are wanted for war crimes, for crimes against humanity, not just for ties to Al-Qaeda and to terrorist groups.
Even though they say they're keeping tabs on them for a year.
They say they're keeping tabs on them for a year. That's clearly not long enough, and they can wait that out. They've waited quite a while in Gitmo.
What about Jen Psaki's comments? I mean, everyone knows the U.S. doesn't negotiate with terrorists, but she's saying they can make, concessions in certain circumstances. Someone was asking about Bowe Bergdahl. My question to you would be, doesn't that sort of muddy the water, so to speak?
Well, first off, this idea that we don't negotiate with terrorists is just not true. It's historically not true. It's a guideline. It's not a rule. There are, in fact, times when the U.S. has been forced to negotiate with terrorists in the past to get the release of prisoners and for other reasons. But also this separation of the Taliban versus ISIS, with the administration's line that somehow the Taliban were ending hostilities with them. So this is normal. This is within our historical tradition. First of all, that's just an outright lie. The Taliban has not ended hostilities with us. We have not ended hostilities with them. And then on top of this, the idea that they're sort of a terrorist group, but not really a terrorist group. I don't know what the administration thinks they're trying to convey with that.
Here's the exact wording. Taliban is an armed insurgency. ISIS is a terrorist group.
Well, that's flatly ridiculous. ISIS is an armed insurgency as well, and is just as much a terrorist group, and the Taliban is just as much a terrorist group. There's really no meaningful distinction you can make between the two, except the administration has already negotiated with the terrorists of the Taliban, and so they want to pretend that there's some distinction they're making, some principle that's separating this.
Which just makes me wonder about this potential negotiation. I do that in air quotes because we don't know the status of this Jordanian fighter pilot or even this Japanese hostage, right, that we've seen in the ISIS videos, this notion that Jordan would negotiate or do this swap for ISIS wants back this Iraqi woman, this female suicide bomber who was strapped to the gills, didn't go off in that attack. How would all of that affect that potential swap? Wouldn't she potentially then, obviously, she's going back to the bad guys with ISIS if that were to happen?
Well, she would be going back if the Jordanians released her. I have to say, I think it's unlikely because ISIS's demand from the start was, you release her and we just won't kill the pilot. And they've been moving the goalposts and changing essentially what their demands are all along. Remember, at one point it was $200 million for the two Jordanian hostages, for the two Japanese hostages, and then they added now the Jordanian hostage and the Japanese hostage maybe won't be killed if you release al-Rashawi, who's on death row for trying to be a suicide bomber at a wedding where her husband was unfortunately successfully a suicide bomber. And the Jordanians call this their 9/11. I think this could have implications, though, that ISIS, if they do execute this hostage, the pilot, and I'm worried that they will, I think it's still probably going to happen. If that were to happen, the Jordanians have tried to stay out of this as much as they can. They've been drawn into it, obviously. I've been to the refugee camps at Zaatari. I've seen how Jordan is increasingly pulled into the vortex of Syria. If they execute a Jordanian on TV and they release this to the rest of the world, I think we can expect an even accelerated cooperation with the Jordanian government trying to fight against ISIS, because this is a war against all regional partners, and I think everyone needs to understand that.
What about that Iraqi female suicide bomber.
She would be of propaganda value mostly, and we're seeing this now. By the way, we see this with the wife of one of the shooters in France.
Yeah.
They want these people who are sort of high profile in the jihadist community because they're trying to essentially build this ideology along with the state of the Islamic State, and so part of this is tying it back to Al Qaeda in Iraq 1.0, and now ISIS is Al Qaeda in Iraq 2.0, and there are actually direct ties between her, it's believed, and some of the earliest sort of founding fathers of Al Qaeda in Iraq.
That's exactly
so
right.
this is major propaganda coup if they get it, but I don't think the Jordanians are going to release her.
Buck Sexton, thank you.
Thank you.